Now, as soon as we borrow money, we all get credit scores, although most of us are blissfully unaware of them. Governments don't have that luxury, and they guard their credit ratings like crown jewels. So a downgrade by the ratings agency Moody's, even just by one notch, is a snub, especially for a government that pledged to uphold its AAA rating as a test of their economic and political credibility. Ouch. The Chancellor said the downgrade was no reason to change course. Harry Smith reports.
It's something we probably all dread. The local bank decides our finances are not quite up to scratch. We can have an overdraft, but it might cost us dear. The man in charge of the nation's purse strings described such a scenario as humiliating and assured us it would never happen on his watch.
In a world where so many countries are seeing their credit ratings put on negative outlook or downgraded, our country's AAA credit rating has come off negative outlook and been affirmed. We are the only major Western country which has had its credit rating improve. And I believe we have brought much needed stability at home and attracted near universal confidence abroad.
Maintaining the AAA rating was deemed to be so important, it was actually written into the Conservative Party manifesto at the last election. But now the unthinkable has happened. Among the reasons Moody's gives for downgrading us from AAA to AA1, the UK's predicted sluggish economic growth, the country's high and rising debt burden, which leads to what they call a deterioration in the country's shock absorption capacity. In other words, less room to manoeuvre if the economy really hits the buffers.
The Chancellor said to lose our credit rating would be humiliating. He said in his manifesto in 2010 his number one objective was to secure AAA for Britain, and he believed he would do that by bigger tax rises and spending cuts. But it's failed. He's choked off the recovery, borrowing's up, families are suffering, and even the credit rating agencies are now saying it's failed.
But the Chancellor today insisted the downgrade makes it even more important that he sticks to his austerity drive.
What is the message from the rating agency? Britain's got a debt problem. I agree with that. I've been telling the country for years that we've got a debt problem, we've got to deal with it. What do they also say? That if we abandon our commitment to deal with that debt problem, then our situation will get very much worse. And I'm absolutely clear we mustn't do that.
Britain is not, of course, the first advanced nation to lose its top rating. Last year, America and France suffered the same fate.
Ratings are a bit like grading a hotel. There isn't an absolute perfect science of having a 5-star or a 4-star. What Moody's are saying is that the UK is no longer 5-star, it's closer to 4-star. Now, what does that mean for the government and for George Osborne? It means it's potentially a bit harder to borrow money.
Whatever the effect on the rest of us, the downgrade will ensure the Chancellor has a fairly torrid time over the next few weeks. He and the Prime Minister will face some difficult questions in the Commons. Mr Osborne also has to produce a budget on March the 20th. He had little room for manoeuvre even before Moody's decision. Now he has even less. Harry Smith, Channel 4 News, Downing Street.